Okay, sorry. So first of all, Jabberwocky. Alright, I've got news, y'all. I've got news. Um, that's weird. Well, this is a new island, by the way. We haven't done this one yet. This is super exciting. Jabberwocky. But, I don't know what y'all heard and didn't hear, but I've got news. So, I've been talking about getting out of the garage, like, for weeks now, right? Well, guess who the hell's getting out of the garage starting Monday? That's right. I made it. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Also, I've got a funny story for y'all. So, I maintain that when I was hired, right, I was hired to do a job. Just like anything I would, anything, right? That's how that works, right? Right? Sure. Hold on. We're gonna be right back. Okay. Yeah, I forgot to put the do not disturb on yesterday. Oh, yeah, that was a mistake. Um, so we decided to make sure we put it on this time. Anyway, anyway. Um, so the funny story is, right? It is established, I guess, between my coworkers and I that I'm not sugar snaps. I'm not overly a fan of my boss. Now, I'm not the only one that doesn't like this schmuck. Okay? I'm just vocal about it. Right? Like I'm not gonna give this guy the impression that I like him because I fucking don't. Now, I'm also not gonna go out of my way to talk to him about it either because I'm not. Because it's not worth like my effort. And it's not really important. Okay. So, anyway, we'll open this one. So, like, whatever. Right? Now, I'm also the kind of person that if you ask me a question directly, it is my general tendency to just answer you directly. Right? Jabberwock Orb. Walkie. Jeff. He's got a little mustache. It's awesome. Dark Hawk. Guardian. What else we got here? Okay, so we're gonna go and let our stuff build up there. So we're gonna have to get in all of our cupcake stories because seriously, we're about to not have any. Like as of tomorrow, tomorrow's gonna be our last. Castle Bunyan, sweet, awesome. Hold on. Okay, use Heroes Castle. So anyway, all right. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's do all these now. Okay, cool. Pew. Now we gotta work on Castle Mermaid. Awesome. Oopsie. Just knock stuff over. That's fine. That's fine. Actually, let's get this one. So here's the thing, though. Right? I wasn't friendly with my last boss because that's not what I got hired for, right? I got hired to do a job, and I take that pretty damn seriously, right? I'm here to do a job. I'm here to do work. I need to show up, right? I need to do my job. That's 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 all I need to do. I don't need to do any more than that. And that's how I feel about it. So, um, that means, among other things, that I'm not your friend, right? I'm not friendly with my coworkers. Now, I don't hate my coworkers as a general rule. I don't dislike them. I generally feel neutral about them, and I like to stay neutral about them. Like, I don't want to like you or dislike you. Um, because it's a lot easier to work with you if I don't care either way, right? Sure, you could argue that it's much easier to work with someone that you like than you don't like, but I'm not trying to see my coworkers outside of work. Now, this is like the first place. Um, well, there's technically like one other place this has happened, but this is like one of the first or one of the only places where I connected with people and like kept in touch with them, right? And most of it's because I guess a lot of the places I don't make friends with people. Not that I have trouble doing so per se, but that's like not my MO. Um, and so, yeah, right? Like, again, I'd rather be neutral with you if I can manage it, but, sometimes that's not how that works out. So, like, fine, whatever, right? But I definitely would prefer not to hate you if I can manage that. And sometimes it's not manageable. I absolutely had somebody I couldn't stand that I worked with at this place. Wife was like, you got along with this guy for this long, and I'm like, I really didn't though. I really didn't. Like, it got to the point where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna have to deal with that asshole today, and I was really grumpy about it. So anyway, I wasn't friends with my first boss. And I gotta tell you, I don't see a problem with that, honestly. I'm not there to be your friend. I'm there to do my job, and I don't need to be friends with you to do my job. And it's probably, maybe arguably, easier to do my job if I'm not friends with you, right? Because for some people, that kind of creates a conflict of interest. And then it becomes, difficult to work under somebody. Um, Now, I can compartmentalize really well, so I don't fancy myself like running into this issue so much, but other people do, and then I have to deal with it by proxy. So there's that. So there's that. No, I did not. Anyway, the first guy left a couple of times, honestly. Um, and so that just ceased to be a problem. But I wasn't friendly with him to begin with, and I had no intention of being friendly with him. And then some things happened that determined that I would never be friendly with him because he was kind of a giant fucking asshole. And I don't tend to, you know, wanna wanna make nice with people who are dipshits and assholes. It's not on my list of things to do. Now, again, I can manage being civil to you and like dealing with you to a certain extent, but again, with the compartmentalization and the drawing lines in the sand, we're absolutely going to do that. So, I deal with you. I deal with you when I have to. I deal with you when it's necessary, and that's it. Like, we're not friendly. We're not friends. That's it. That's it. That's it. That is it. So, he left, and we had nobody in that position for a while. And then this new guy comes in. Now, I'm always skeptical of people because everything, seems good at the outset, right? And I do try to let, someone's character speak for itself. But the funny thing is I personally don't have like a direct issue with this person. Now, recently, it's getting to the point where I am starting to have an issue with them. But like at the outset, right? Like they didn't do anything to me, so I didn't have like a specific issue with them, right? What I do have an issue with is how they treat my coworkers, and that's a nigga for me. Like, I will go to bat for people, right? I will do a lot for you, right? Um, and I will defend my people, and I will like rise up and avenge them, and etc. and so on. Like I am a ride or die kind of person, right? That's just me. Well, this guy is kind of out for himself, and I got to tell you, I take issue with that. I take issue with that because that kind of personality means if he can get what he wants and it means throwing you under the bus, that's probably exactly what he's going to do. And I am way more loyal than that. So I don't take kindly to him anyway for that reason. But he treats my coworkers in a way that I don't particularly care for. Now look, I'm ride or die. I will be there and I will defend you, and I will I will go hard for you. But sure, like you still have to stand up for yourself, right? I can't do that for you. I won't do that for you. And again, I mean, that's fine. But like, if you need me in your corner, fucking time and place. Like, we're good to go. As long as I can manage, like, to be there and to be supportive however I need to, I'm here for it. No probs. So, I don't understand the mentality of I'm gonna throw somebody under the bus. Like, I get it. Like, logistically speaking, I understand somebody's out for themselves. It's me or you. I'm gonna take care of me. And like to a point, yeah, no, you should. You absolutely should take care of you. I don't think though it's usually necessary for you to throw people under the bus in the process though. So yeah, about that. So anyway, part of why I don't care for him as a person is because of that attitude. Like he seems completely comfortable with throwing somebody to the wolves without so much as a buy your leave. And I mean, this is not like we're not in a survival kind of situation, right? So there's no need to bury people, you know? So it comes to my attention. Gumby, it's just Gumby and I at the end of the day. And randomly, he's like, oh yeah, he wants me to find out what the flowers were about. And I'm like, dude, are you serious? So, I don't think I mentioned this. A couple of days ago, I got flowers sent to me at work. Now, here's the funny thing about that, right? Hi, Lurky Lou. I got flowers sent to me at work. Now, I don't publicize where I work, right? Y'all know I work in a garage. That's it. I didn't say where. I didn't say what kind of garage. I didn't say what kind of work we do or do not do. Like, I have not given you any kind of clues to be any more specific than that, and that is 100% on purpose. Because I am not keen on people knowing unnecessary information about me, right? And strangers do not need to know specifically where I work. Just like when I switch jobs on Monday, I will be working in a completely different space. And I haven't even been real keen on telling y'all what that is. Like, I have stayed out of the industry and where it is because I am trying to maintain a degree of privacy. Now, like, sure, I don't have anything to hide. It's just there's a difference between something to hide and it's frankly nobody's business. So anyway, um, Cupcake comes to the back with a bouquet in his hands, and he's like, "Congratulations!" And I'm like, "What? Like, what are you talking about?" He's like, "You're," says my name. I'm like, "Yeah. What is that?" And he's like, "Congratulations." I'm like, "What is that? Like, what is this? What are you walking towards me with? Like, what the hell?" I had no idea who sent it to me or fucking why. And I was kind of freaking out because I'm like, who knows where I work? Okay. Alright. I can probably name, like, all the people on one hand who know where I work. Okay. What is this congratulations about? Like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell? And I took the bouquet from him, but was, like, super fucking confused the whole time. So then I take it, I put it in, like, this little back room that we've got, and I go back to what the hell I was doing, because I'm at work. I was working, right? And at some point, like, I looked at Juice, I was like, dude, did you send me flowers? He's like, why would I send you flowers? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. Obviously, I don't know why anybody would send me flowers. Now, let me just put out here, I don't actually like flowers. Um, and I spoiler alert, I did figure out who it was. Because I ended up talking to them. And they were like, oh yeah, that was me. And I'm like, oh my god, you scared the shit out of me. So I don't like flowers. I'll tell you why I don't like flowers. I don't like flowers because I'm a gardener. And when you give me flowers, you have given me dead plants. Now look, I have no problem with dead things. I love me some bones. Okay? Like, for cereal. But I can't do a whole lot of anything with dead plants. Right? And as a gardener, I don't love flowers because they're usually very high maintenance and they're just annoying. Um, think of those flowers from Alice in Wonderland, those bitchy stuck up flowers. Yeah, it's kind of the right vibe. Like, so I'm not overly a fan of flowers. Um, I'm just not. And as a gardener, oh god, like, least favorite plant. I like hardy herbaceous perennials myself. Um, they tend to be low maintenance. You don't have to, like, baby and coddle them, which I think is fantastic. I don't know why I keep trying to do that. Let's go ahead and harvest all this stuff. Um, and, like, you totally still, get something out of, right? You totally get something out of like the plants. Like they produce things. So I don't need like and like fruit is a lot. Um I'm not really much for appearances and for them like unless you're making rose water or you're making potpourri or you're doing things and you can't make potpourri from just any flower, right? Like not all plants have a smell to them, right? Like the plant itself. So anyway, um that's one of the reasons why I don't like flowers though, is because you've given me a dead plant and I can't really do a whole lot with a dead plant. Now, granted, I get it. Like, yes, you thought of me. That's great. I appreciate that. Insert insert socially acceptable commentary here. Um, and I haven't gotten into it with the person who sent them to me because um, I have like no tact, right? And I think that there's definitely probably a delicate way to express this idea, and I'm not doing a real good job of it right now, even. So I need to like think on this before I go and open my big yap and like hurt their feelers unintentionally by flatly saying, yeah, so I don't like flowers, like as a general rule, and this is why. Now, why is because I'm a gardener and it's dead, and I can't really do much of anything with it. I would much rather be given a fucking live plant. Even a live plant that is not the kind of plant I like, right? Like, so if you were to give me a live flower or like fruit tree or even a fucking vegetable, not my favorite plants, but I would still like that better than a bouquet. Also, there are a lot of flowers that I like and can't be anywhere near. So I think lilies are gorgeous, but I'm allergic to them. And as much as I would love to have a fucking hay fever allergy attack, I'm gonna go with the no for that. So, like, that's an issue for me. Um, and that's just, it's unfortunate. That's it. It's unfortunate, and it's not really anything I can do anything about. Um, so I tend to avoid said plants because of that. Now, that doesn't mean I hate those plants. But like if you were to give me an option of would you like this plant in this vase with its buddies or would you like this plant in a pot with some dirt, I would go for the dirt, okay? That's just me. Um so yeah. And if I was going to accept a plant, hands down, fucking cactus or succulent. Like, there's no contest there at all. Because, again, I'm like that. Now, the socially acceptable thing for me to do is say thank you. Which I did. And they're like, and I was asked if I liked it, and I gotta be honest, I probably dodged that question. Um, because the person who sent it to me was really excited, and I didn't want to rain on their parade. And so I was like, yeah, no. I think I didn't do a great job of expressing my appreciation. So I ended up reaching out to them like later after the fact saying, yeah, no, I really appreciate it. I was just honestly was shocked. And like I didn't know how to process what was in front of me. And I was like, what the hell? Like I wasn't mad about it. I was just confused. So Cupcake was there. He saw my honest reaction, right? Like, he saw me looking at him like, what the fuck? Like, because I was like, am I being, like, is he bringing the, did he, what? Like, because I'm pretty sure that Cupcake doesn't even like me. Now, I don't care if he does or not, by the way. I don't need him or want him to like me. Um, it's not convenient for him to like utterly despise me just because it's not. But I'm not gonna lose any sleep if he does. I'm gonna be like, okay, guy, whatever floats your boat. Especially now because I'm fucking out of there. So anyway, um, so after he leaves, I take the flowers from him. I go sit them down in the little office, and I go over to Juice. I'm like, dude, did you send me flowers? And he's like, why would I send you flowers? And I'm like, I don't fucking know. So I go and I open the card, and it's like, congratulations, you passed friend. And I was like, who the fuck? And I was like, well, it wasn't wife, because wife would have said wife, right? Wife is also broke. So I'm like, it wasn't wife. And I'm like, who else knows that I'm like trying to get out of here, right? And that I'm like working on stuff, and that this, that, and the other is happening, and that I passed and is friends with me. And I'm like, I mean, a couple of people, but none of them seem to be the right person. Like, why would you send me flowers? Why wouldn't you just say congratulations and be done with it, right? So I call friend, the infamous friend, and I was like, bitch, did you send me flowers? And she was like, yeah! Like, obviously it was me. And I was like, you scared the shit out of me. And she's like, what? I'm like, I don't get flowers sent to me. I had no idea who they were from. She's like, did you read the card? And I'm like, I did read the card, but that they spelled friend correctly. And when I say friend, I mean FREND, incorrectly spelled. So I was like, if you had them spell it like that, I would have totally known it was you. Because that's kind of the joke, is that we misspelled it on purpose. Oh, damn it, I didn't mean to do that. Premature merging! So anyway, she sent me flowers because I passed my exam, my first exam, to get my license back, to practice. And so Gumby is in the back with me, right? So all that for this. Gumby is in the back with me, and he's like, oh yeah, Cupcake wants me to find out what the flowers were about. Now, Gumby wasn't there when the flowers got delivered. And I don't even remember if I had told him about them, because I just don't think that I had. And I looked at him, I was like, dude, are you serious? He's like, yeah. So I told him what happened, and he's just howling with laughter. And I'm like, dude, what I want to know, and look, if you want to chime in the chat box and let me know, or you want to comment, or you want to whisper to me later, what I want to know is, why does my boss need to know why I got flowers at work? Can somebody explain this to me? Because I'm pretty sure he doesn't need to know. I'm pretty sure it's not fucking relevant. I'm pretty sure. And by pretty sure, I mean I'm like 100% positive that it doesn't matter. And this is like need to know information, and that motherfucker doesn't need to know. Okay. Now, if you have any ideas over there in the internet, your corner of the internet in the world, and you'd like to share them with me, you're welcome to. But I don't understand why he needs to know. So I'm pretty sure that he fucking doesn't. Now, mind you, let's also not forget, he and I are not friends. I honestly don't fucking like him. And I don't fucking like him because I don't like how he treats my coworkers. He is lazy and entitled, and instead of being a good boss and being like involved and supporting his people, he just constantly is foisting work off onto people that he doesn't want to do. And I don't mean he's delegating something so that he can be available to do anything. He is trying to actively avoid any work that he can. And look, there are jobs and things that have to be done at the shop that nobody wants to fucking do. Sooner or later, you're going to come across one of those jobs, right? It's statistically likely. This guy avoids them hardcore to the tune of he will come back there just to tell you to do a job that he doesn't want to do but could. Like, you and the internet can disagree with me all you want, but it's not gonna, right? It's not gonna matter. Um, but part of being a good boss to me is that you're gonna take care of your people. You're gonna listen to them. You're gonna respect them. You're gonna treat them like people. You're gonna be a fucking human. I don't know. I know I'm asking like a whole lot, but hear me out. Just an idea. Like, you're not going to run down your people, right? You're not going to overwork them. You're not going to treat them like shit. You're going to appreciate their efforts, and you're just not going to be an entitled ass. And that's like, he's not doing any of that. He's in fact doing all of those things. Like, he's being a dick. Now, I don't understand why, if you're being a dick, that you should be shocked if somebody doesn't just fucking like you. Okay? I don't... Look, I'm an asshole. Okay? And I'll tell you that to your fucking face. I will make sure that's one of the first things I tell you, so that you don't get your knickers in a twist when I step on your feet. And look, it's not malicious, it's not on purpose. It's just probably going to happen. So, I don't pretend to be something I'm not. Now, am I the worst person? I mean, if you ask me on a good day, I'm going to tell you no. If you ask me on a bad day, I'm probably going to tell you I'm the worst. But, like, in general, like, logistically speaking, like, to be completely clinical about it, no, I am not the fucking worst person. I'm a person, and like any other, got good points and bad points, right? Let's go check on let's check on these guys, see what's going on here. So, I don't understand why he needs to know. Now, look, I'm a nosy bitch. Okay? Oh, that's not nearly enough. That's not enough. We need more. I'm 100% a nosy bitch. I can understand being nosy and curious and wanting to know things. But for me, what I'm getting from this is it's more than that. Like, he sent one of my coworkers in to try and spy on me and get information out of me. Now we're gonna go back in time. We're gonna do a little extra story time today, because I need y'all to understand why that's not okay. In fact, I'm gonna have to tell Gumby this story tomorrow, and hopefully I can fucking remember. Actually, I might set an alarm in my phone to remind me when I get into work tomorrow to tell Gumby about the whole espionage thing. Okay, so let me tell y'all. Once upon a time, I was in the military. Alright? That is a shocker. Most people do not believe that, because I do not seem the type. Because I am not the type. But gasp. It is so. I was in the military, and it was not a good place for me. It was absolutely a mistake. And while I can't say I would like undo that choice if I could, there's a lot of things that I got to do and people I got to meet that I never would have met if I hadn't been in. It was not a fun experience for me. I did not fucking care for it. It was a bad scene, honestly. So, anyway, well, that the military just was not a good place for me. It was not a good place for me for a lot of reasons. And I think if you've been paying attention at home, kids, you can guess why. Um, Among many things, I'm mentally ill. Uh, there's not a lot of good. There's not a lot of places that are great for me. Okay, they're just because stressors and really, really negative reactions and being triggered, and oh god, that gets ugly. So, anyway, to say I have a problem with authority would be putting it lightly. Now, the good thing or the funny thing about me is I, being mentally ill and neurodivergent and a minority, it's just a fucking, yeah, it's a mess, right? And it leads to some situations and some reactions and just a lot of things that are like, that's a little whoa. Like, yeah. So anyway, it wasn't a good fit. Now, I don't think that should like shock anybody, right? Given how I am, but I don't know. I'm not saying it was news to me, but let's just say it probably was obvious to anybody that I didn't necessarily give this decision, that is to join the military, um, a fair amount of thought. Now, we're not going to get into why I joined the military. There are a lot of reasons, and I have some very specific reasons. And given that I have those very specific reasons, I gotta say, even knowing now that it was like not a good idea for me, I can't say that I wouldn't have done it anyway. Like if present me, right, went back in the past and was like, look, this is a really bad idea, and this is why. I'm pretty sure that current me, like, past me, would have been like, I hear what you're saying, but I'm gonna do this anyway. Thanks for the heads up. Like, there's a really good chance I would have been like that. Like, I will take what you say under advisement. Thanks. Don't tell me what to do. I gotta tell you, I think present me, if warned by some future self that, hey, look, this right here is not gonna work out for you, I think I'd probably still say the same thing now. Even having gone through something that clearly fits that description of, oh, this was a bad fit, right? Just because I'm fucking contrary like that, so what do you want? What do you want? Anyway, I joined the military. Now, I, once upon a time, worked in the medical field. And so when I went into the military, I made it very clear that I was going into the medical field. I was going to be a medic. That was not up for discussion. That was not up for debate. I was not asking permission. I was not saying, hey, this would be cool. I was saying, what we're going to do is this. And the funny thing is, like on the spot, like at the time, I was told, oh, well, if you take this MOS, you can make like so much more money doing XYZ. And I'm like, I want to do this. And they're like, well, but if you do this, and I'm like, I want to do this. Like, I didn't fucking stutter. Okay? I was very clear about what I was going for. It was not a discussion. And so I got the MOS I wanted because I wasn't fucking negotiating. Like, it wasn't a discussion. It was me clearly stating that this is what we're gonna do is this. So I got the MOS I wanted, right? Now, when I got to my unit, they had just gotten back from a deployment. Now, let me be clear when I say I am not saying that I wanted to be deployed at fucking all. And knowing myself as I do, I am sure that deployment would have been a really bad experience for me. Like, a really bad one. And it probably would have triggered a cascade of just really, really bad mental health episodes. And I can say that with, like, a really reasonable degree of certainty, I think. You know, like, yeah. Like, oh no, that would have been fucking ugly. Right? Ooh, look. So, yeah. About that. So it's probably absolutely in my best interest that never really came to fruition. Because I think that would have been a bad time for everybody instead of just me. So, alright. So I was in this unit, couldn't deploy, wasn't doing my job, was just kind of a bump in the log. Now, what follows is, if you know me, something that makes complete sense, right? But I went up to my retention NCO and I was like, either you need to, like, make use of me as a soldier, or you need to put me out of the military. And I don't know that he knew how to interpret that. Because it sounds like I gave a superior an ultimatum, doesn't it? That's totally what it sounds like. Now, here's the thing. I was like 20 at the time, okay? I'm 37 now. No, I'm going to be 37 in a couple weeks. But 16 years ago, I was like this. Okay? Alright? I was like, I went through 6 months of training. I went through absolute hell. Because being in training was not a good situation for me. It was gnarly, and like, it literally did kind of drive me a little crazy. It jacked up my stress levels way too high, and it was a bad scene. And I reacted, to put it lightly, I reacted poorly to the situation. Right? Which, again, if you know me and you know how I am, that is just not a shocker. Okay. So, I'm talking to him and he's like, well, do you want to learn a language? And I'm like, thinking to myself, well, I took 3 years of Russian in college and I enjoyed that. So, yeah, sure, why not? And I was like, I mean, are we talking about, like, a cool language? Because, like, I'm not really interested in, like, Spanish or French. He's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. It could be anything. And I'm like, oh, alright, okay. What I heard him say was possibility. And I'm like, oh, I like that. And options. Okay. So, cool. He's like, well, basically, without telling me, um, like the specifics of any kind of like what's this entailed. He's like, "Oh, you could be a cryptolinguist," and I was like, "Okay, cool. I like languages. That sounds fun. Let's do it." And he's like, "Well, you're gonna reclass, blah 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 blah, 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 blah. Yeah, turkeys." Um, so I transferred out of my unit into an intel unit. Oh my fucking god. I have never met such paranoid people in my life. I can understand if you work in espionage in any or just intel gathering, how you would be suspicious of other people. I could totally see that. And hey, people are shifty, okay? That is a fair point. But like they were so suspicious of like one another. And I was just like, wow, y'all, like holy shit. Uh-oh, we're gonna make a giant wand. Are you ready? Pew! Woo! Okay, so I think what that is saying is I can't make anything bigger than that. That's what she said. Okay, let's look. Oh, that's not what I want. There we go. Yes. We're gonna get 1,215. Freaking, you ready? Are you ready? So we're looking at this. We're looking at this number right here. Okay. Yeah. All right. You ready? This is gonna be exciting. Okay, so it's gonna go up to like 5,000 something. That was freaking awesome. Okay, I don't care what you say. That was freaking awesome. Anyway, like, I have never met such paranoid people in my life. They were suspicious of like one another to what feels like, honestly, an unhealthy degree. Okay? Like, they did not trust one another. And I'm just thinking to myself, y'all are gonna have to, like, work together, like, in country. I don't think it's gonna work out if you don't trust each other. like, wow. Just, wow, guys. I could not wrap my head around how utterly distrustful they were of each other. So, just for giggles, right? I did end up reclassing. I did end up getting an Intel MOS, which it was HUMINT is what it was called, Human Intelligence, which essentially shorthand. I became an interrogator. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and put out there that I don't think they taught me anything that I didn't already know how to fucking do. So, to y'all. And if we were gonna just overly simplify what my job was, it was to badger people until they gave me information and to basically confuse them enough for them to slip up and tell me things. Now I gotta tell you, I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm really good at like rambling and just kind of melting your brain while I talk. I already knew that. Okay. It's not news to me. I've been known to put people to sleep. Not on purpose, but yeah. I absolutely can talk in circles around you. And my command of language is pretty goddamn decent. So, this is a cakewalk. And if you've ever taken one of those personality tests they give you, like basically when you're interviewing for a corporation, if you ever pay attention, and I'm sure most of us have noticed this, they'll ask you like, 50, 100 questions, right? Somewhere in there. and they'll ask you a couple of questions more than once. However, they will word them differently. And so the change in verbiage essentially is going to cause you to answer the question differently. And basically, they're trying to they're kind of trying to trip you up. Is what they're doing. Like that's the result of what happens. I don't know what those pizzas are. I don't know where I get those, by the way. Um. Oh shit! I didn't mean to do that. Butterfingers today. Biscuits. So anyway, um, I got into that unit. I eventually got my own mess. Um, and my entry into that unit and my stay in that unit was awful, by the way. Um, it was just fucking terrible. At one point, I was threatened while I was in that unit. I was actually threatened while I was in training, which was super awesome. I was told because at some point I was like, I don't think that this training, like this MOS, is a really good fit for me. And I was being honest. And they essentially told me, we will ruin your by way of making it so that you don't have a clearance at all, which will render you like completely unable to do this job or like anything else if you don't finish this training. Now, I gotta tell you, this little on the completely fucked up side. All right, and given the rest of my stay in the Intel community, I gotta tell you, that really seems on brand, unfortunately. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, was not a fan of said tactic, and I was just like, and here's the thing, I don't gamble for a reason, right? Um, I'm not a fan of like unnecessary risks. And my thing with it is you know what? Maybe he's bluffing, maybe he's not. But you know what? I am disinclined to find out. Because if I call his bluff and I'm wrong, I'm screwed. And I will not be in a position to salvage the wreckage that is created, right? So, like, I have enough sense to know when to, maybe bow out of the game, if you will, right? So I decided not to play Russian roulette, um, and just fucking let it be. Now, look, I was not happy about that. I'm gonna go ahead and say I won in the end because I never actually had to go and do said job, but I could have dealt without the threat. I gotta be honest with you. I really could have. That would have been great. That's okay. Yeah, they decided I was too cray cray to actually do the job. Um, I was too cray cray to deploy, which was probably not completely inaccurate, to be honest with you. And then I was too cray, and then I couldn't get a clearance to the level that they needed me to get it, which I had no idea why. I still to this day do not know why, and I think that's just like the biggest amount of irony, because the only way I could do the job is if I got the clearance, and for whatever reason I couldn't get the clearance. By the way, there's all kinds of reasons that have nothing to do with your integrity as to why you can't get a clearance. If you, for example, are in debt, which I absolutely was at the time, you can't get a clearance because the way they're thinking about it is somebody could totally buy you off, which is not an inaccurate like statement. No, that's totally a thing. Um, I have integrity though, so you can't buy me off, because if you could buy me off, There are a lot of different choices I would have made in my life, and I did not make any of them. Like, money is not enough of a motivator for me as a person for you to be able to bribe me into something that I wouldn't just do anyway, right? Um, if you have to bribe me into it, good luck. Which, you know, is a thing. That's also why they argue that people who are like motivated by like prestige, promotions, and stuff like that aren't, that's not a good um, leader, because that means that the person is only, they're assuming the person's only doing it for that reason and no other reason, right? So, wouldn't work as hard, wouldn't be as good of a leader, wouldn't put their all into it if they weren't be like, right? And I can understand that because yeah, no, that's the thing. The problem with that is you're oversimplifying people's motivations as if they can't have more than one, and you can totally have more than one motivation. Like, maybe you want to do a really good job, but you also want to be compensated. And maybe if you were absolutely not going to be compensated, like ever, you would just decide, okay, well, I'm not going to put forth past a certain point of effort, which is absolutely a sensible thing to do. Like, don't work yourself to death for nothing. That's silly. That doesn't make any damn sense. But, like, I can understand why that metric would be used to say, oh, well, this is not going to be a great person. Boom! Plants. So, anyway, while I was in this unit, I had a run in with, I think, an E7. So, the funny thing is, this E7 was an absolute, and we're just going to assume that I'm remembering this rank correctly. He was an absolute tool. Like, he was a total fucking dick. And nobody liked him. And all of the females had an issue with him. Because he was like 6'2", pretty, like, and physically intimidating guy. And would abuse that, like, physical, actual, like, size to intimidate and otherwise, like, try to treat people like shit. Like, he was a bully. Now, like we have discussed, yours truly is a little cray-cray, okay? And I have a problem with authority. And part of that problem with authority is I kind of have an issue with men. And if you are physically imposing, oh, yeah, about that. That's probably gonna, that's not gonna end well for you. Because there's a really good chance that if I find you to be threatening, you are gonna elicit a really bad reaction out of me. Because I have been traumatized. And I have like 2 modes now at this point. And my defense mechanisms are generally not very good for the person who's the aggressor. Is I will defend myself, and I will take the offensive if I feel I need to. Needless to say, I guess he wanted to cow me. Now, I think that we can all guess that based on my personality, threatening me is ill-advised. If nothing else, you're probably not going to get the reaction out of me that you want, right? Like, you're just not. Also, my apathy levels are really, really high. And so, threatening me just isn't going to get you very far. Because I'm just going to look at you like you're an idiot. Yeah, probably. So, I can't remember the exact situation. Like, I can't remember what he was saying to me. But he called me into my office and was having a word with me. And, because he's a superior, I'm standing at parade rest. And I was standing in such a position where it could be interpreted that I was based on the fact that I was essentially could have been easily cornered. Now, I'm claustrophobic, and I use that word because I don't have a better one for it. It is not tight spaces, though, specifically, that I have a problem with. It is places that I can't get out of, specifically related to people. Like, I don't like people in my space. I don't handle it very well. And if you get in my space or you crowd me, I'm very likely to become aggressive because I need you to get out of my space. Like, I can't handle people in my space really well. And like, when people stand too close to me, like, it takes every ounce of everything in me not to flip the fuck out. And like, to date, I have managed not to do so, but I'm not convinced I'm going to be able to keep this up for too much longer. But like, if people stand too close to me, if they lean in, if they try to like be physically imposing with me, either I'm gonna like freak out and like get upset, or I'm gonna get pissed off. And if I get pissed off, I'm gonna act on that anger. And I can't tell you how I'm gonna act on that anger because that I don't know. It really depends on the situation. Well, he tried to get in my space, and I, in parade rest, with an even tone, told him that I needed him to back up. He did not like that. Now I get it. I can understand why he probably didn't like it. But it is my job to protect myself. Yes. It's my job to, guard my safety as best I can. And if you're imposing on my space and I feel crowded and claustrophobic and you're like eliciting like a fear response out of me, I'm going to tell you that you need to get out of my space. Now, I didn't yell at him, I didn't scream at him, I didn't physically come at him and push him out of my space. No, I just said, I need you to step back. Well, as we have said, he was not really a fan of that. So, the long story short here, IG had a little bit of a talk with him, and he was transferred out of that unit. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say, like, on my resume as a human, that we're going to count this as an accomplishment, because I made sure that somebody was a problem got fucking removed by actions that I took. Now, I did not push forth certain things, but it became clear to another superior that this person was a problem. And they were like, well, do you want to do this? And I'm like, you damn right I want to do this. So, yeah, I have no problem jumping over your head and lodging a complaint if you try me. Like, do not think that you can cow me into submission. That is, I'm not the one. I really am not. And he learned that day. And I'm sure I was not his favorite person for quite some time. Now, I think the females of the unit that I was in probably appreciate his absence. And, honestly, more than happy to facilitate the removal of an asshole. Yup. So, somewhere around that time, before all that, like, played out fully, I had someone stop me in a hall and basically start asking me questions about the situation. Now, the funny thing is because I'm neurodivergent, I'm not super up on social cues. I miss them a lot of the time because I don't think or act like within a certain range of being. Um, I don't know how far we got on our last video, so we're gonna probably wrap this up soon because I think I have oh, we got this one. I have about exhausted everything. Anyway, yeah, so there's a lot of things that will happen that I will just not like accurately perceive or perceive at all because my brain doesn't work like that. And so I'm like missing things, right? However, my spidey senses are pretty decent, all things considered. So, like, if you've ever read Madeline, right, you know that at some point the nun is like, shoots up in bed and she's like, something is not right. And, like, goes off to see that, like, you know, Madeline's doing all kinds of nonsense, right? Like, you know. So that kind of thing. Anyway, yeah. I like my spidey senses are pretty good, you know, all things considered. So while I'm being questioned, I'm just getting this real hinky feeling. You know, there's something a little weird about this. I can't quite put my finger on it, but I gotta tell you, I don't like it. And I didn't really give the person who was trying to pump me for information any information. And all of that story and setup and lead up to say, I know when people are trying to get me to tell them myself. Like, I listen very carefully to what people say and how they say it. And even if you don't think I'm listening, I wouldn't put money on that guy. So I'm very careful about what I say and how I phrase things and to whom. Now, you would think that my candor, right, would fly in the face of that. But if you think about it, it really doesn't. I still don't say anything that I have no intention of, right? I'm not giving any information here that I wouldn't yell over a megaphone. And that's really important because I'm very careful with what I say, how I say it, and about what I'm speaking. And a lot of people are not that conscientious and not that careful, and so will say things when they don't mean to. And then if they do catch themselves, a lot of times they'll stumble, which will just kind of make it worse. Alright, so now we're going to go back to Shabarwalk Island. See if there's anything else to here to do. But the thing with it is that, like, I know when people are trying to get information out of me. Like, I hear you, guy. Oh my god, another big one? I totally could have, like, kept those and made, like, what does this one say? I need to make a big helmet for that. But, like, I need a big sword for that? Okay. Alright. Yeah. But it was like, what gets me about this is like, do you think you're slick? Like, do you really think that I don't see what you're doing? Like, that's kind of what boggles my mind. Like, what guy? What? I had no intention of opening those, but I decided I should because I decided that I should. Anyway, it was just like, I don't know. And honestly, all that was to say is, I know when people are trying to get information out of me, and I know what to say and when to say it and how to say it and when not to. I'm not giving any information that I don't want you to have. Like, you're not. Because, no, guy. Like, I've been around the block quite some time. I don't know. People are wild. And I don't understand. Like, why do you think you're so slick? And look, I don't understand why he's trying to get this information. And I'm sure that I don't have the finesse. I'm sure that I don't have the finesse to find out. Because that's not really my style. Like, if I want to know something, honestly, I'm just gonna fucking ask. And you can't always brazen it out. And I know that. And that's fine. Oh no. Do I want extra energy for this? Yeah, sure, why not? Well, since we're gonna get extra energy to this, let's just do these. Everything up. There we go. I don't know though. Like, okay, whatever. I guess what boggles my mind is, like, I guess he thinks that nobody knows what he's doing. And I'm like, who are you used to dealing with that somebody wouldn't catch on? Like, what? Although the idea that no one is paying really close attention to, like, what they say is also this. Like, I'm team choose your words carefully, and I don't understand why you wouldn't do that. Like, what? Like, I don't understand the carelessness with language that a lot of people have. But, you know. That's fine, I guess. Oopsie. That's fine. That's fine. I guess I don't need to understand it. I don't need to. But, oh boy. Oh no. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. Don't get it. I was like hoping to, save some of these chests to make them bigger, but that's not happening. Oh yeah. That's okay. I don't know. People are silly though, like really. They do the damnedest things. Especially when they think they're gonna get away with it. Ooh yeah. Now put this guy over here. Alright, so let's see what our discoveries are. Oh man. Alright, now we're going to go to the Mystic Isle. This is going to be our last stop for the evening. We really need to work on Castle Mermaid tomorrow. Alright, so I still don't know what these things are for. Don't. feel like I should, but I don't. I feel like the worst because I don't. Oh man. Okay. I think that is. Oh, we need to check over here. Because apparently I'm like forgetting stuff. The good thing is I didn't forget anything this time. Now I gotta feed all the babies. Night night now. There we go. Oh yeah. Alright. Whoops. Eggy. I think that's everybody. Yeah. Alright, so don't mind me just adjusting my septum ring. I'm to buy a new one today and it's Lulu, Alpa Cappuccino, a Pacachino, and Spitfire. Oh my. Alright. So, I just want to say thanks for popping in. If you have any commentary on why is my boss asking me weird personal questions, and by asking me, I mean asking my coworkers instead of asking me, and you'd like to chime in, you are welcome to, because I am curious. And I'm not going to talk to him because I'm not that curious. Like I said, if y'all want to chime in, you go right ahead. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and good night. I need to get back to downloading stuff so I can put all the stuff up. That means a couple of these videos here are going to go from being 2 parts here into 1 part on YouTube. I have not put anything together yet, but that's going to be probably something I'm going to be doing this weekend. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, and good night.